started, if each of the candidates will come pick a number. I think we have 15 that are here, and so that means you'll have about just 2 minutes each. And then we'll have question and answers.
Which district?
Do we have anybody number 14 or 15 would like to switch? She'll switch with you. Here you go. She'll switch with you. Okay, did everybody get their numbers? Okay. So welcome to the Texas Truth Movement meeting tonight.
Blow your whistle.
All right, can I get everybody in a cheer? Thank you. Well, my name is Mary Ann Jackson, and I am the president of the Texas Truth Movement. And tonight we are very glad that we had so many candidates that were able to make it. And tonight we also are just glad that the weather was not as freezing cold as it could have been, I guess. And we appreciate y'all getting out on this cold night. We have Michael Tapp is a veteran, a member of Texas Truth Movement, and he's going to lead us in pledge and prayer. So would you mind standing?
Stand if you're able. Please join me in prayer. Father God, Almighty, Ruler, Savior, thank you, Father. Thank you for Jesus Christ, our Savior. Thank you, Father, for allowing us the privilege of being here tonight. We pray, Father, that you be with us every day, that you strengthen our mind and our spirit, that we might stand with you against the forces of evil that are all around us. Remind us daily, Father, of our weakness and your strength, to the end that we give you glory and honor every day of our lives. I pray, Father, in the Lord Jesus Christ's name, amen. Amen. Oh, the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Excellent, thank you. So just for we're making sure everybody got a handout from the check-in table. And in your handout, you should have an agenda and some other information about candidates and information about the 10 propositions that will be on our March primary ballot for us to give our opinion, either a yes or a no. So we'll be talking about some of those later, but right now I just want to remind everybody that the Texas Truth Movement has 3 main objectives. And our mission, first, is to equip individuals with the truth for the world we live in today. One of our objectives is to discern community, social, and political issues, to inform citizens and future generations through political education and activism, and to promote and support and adhere to the guiding principles of the organization through both the administration of the organization and influence on public policy. To get more information about our group, please go to the website, texastruthmovement.org. We have pictures from over the past few years and some other helpful information. And at this time, I'd like to recognize, I know we have some of our board of directors are outside checking people in, but for the ones that are you that are inside, do you mind standing up? And we have Donna Castor. She is director and secretary. We have Gina Buckley. Gina helps with fundraising, special events. Robert Jackson is our bylaws and parliamentarian. And out in the front entryway, we have Monica Dean and Gary Gray. And they are, Gary's our treasurer and Monica is our membership. And George Rowe is also one of our board members. He's hospitality. And we have Pat Huff. He's our director of education. So thank y'all for all your help in being part of this. So you saw your agenda to kind of help you with the organization of what we're trying to do tonight. We know we have a couple candidates that are also in another trying to make both events down the road in Tomball. So we're trying to be flexible, and I think we have another candidate. She's up in Montgomery doing something, trying to get back here. But so the handout that has all the different political offices. As you can see, there's a ton of different candidates. You probably didn't even know how many people were running for governor. And you will see all the different categories. And so I had the agenda printed on Saturday because we didn't know how bad the weather was going to be. And so some people just contacted me lately, so we may not have their name in bold, but we tried to put in bold the candidates that are here tonight so you'll remember what office are they running for, and you guys have to know who your congressional district is and who your House district is and things like that. So one of the things I wanted just to bring up as we start this new calendar year for our group, you might have noticed that we have dropped membership dues. We're trying to keep our expenses low and provide you still with top-notch speakers like we did last year. How many were here for our meeting in October where we had John Harris? He came all the way from New York, so that was we spent a little bit of money to get him to come, but what do you think John was? He gave us a lot of good information, and he was really good. And so I hope that if you want to follow John, he's an author, a podcaster. His podcast is called Conversations That Matter, and he's on John Harris on X. He has YouTube, social media. So anyway, I just hope that if you didn't get to hear it, we did have a video of him if you want. I sent it to the members back in October, but we can get that to anybody who wants it. So speaking of expenses, I wanted to bring your attention to the website. You might want to just write this down. If you haven't ever looked on Transparency USA, you can look up anybody's club, organization. You can see how the money is spent. You can see how candidates, who gives them their money, how much money they have, and all that kind of stuff. If that's something, if that rabbit trail is what you want to look at, you can definitely see. And we're also part of the Texas Ethics Commission website, so you can also see on, again, for state candidates and for organizations that are PACs, you can look that information up. So if you haven't ever tried that, it's very interesting to go and check that out. So we're not going to have membership dues, but there is a yellow form. If you'll fill that out, you'll get on our email list, and we can make sure that you're notified when we do have meetings and events. Okay. And then on the tables, there's some green and buff-colored papers, little half-piece papers. Gina's waving them up. If you have a question that you already know that has been bothering you, start writing it down. As the candidates talk and share more information, you might get something sparked in your head. So Pat Huff has graciously said he would, he's going to read the certain questions. We may not get everybody's question, but we did ask the participants to put their name, an email, or some kind of contact info so that if the candidate, if they can't get to your question tonight, we will pass the question to the candidate and see if they want to try to get back with you on that. Okay. So, Pat, would you like to come up and do your little tribute?
Might do my thing.
Yeah.
Evening, everybody. Thanks for coming out. We've got a packed crowd. Really good. I wanted to bring to your attention, if you don't know, about our good friend Brett Guillory. Brett passed away last Friday from a combination of esophageal cancer and brain cancer. He was 45. He was a warrior for the truth. He was a teacher at Wisdom High School, formerly Robert E. Lee. He taught some of the toughest kids you'd ever want to meet. And he fought the good fight. And so I wanted to just mention that to you, those of you who knew Brett. He had a morning little talk that he had with everybody, if you wanted to tune in, morning chat with Brett on his way to work. And the topics got very interesting. But this has been a 3-year ordeal that he's gone through. His parents are now left with the expenses of what is left behind. And so at some point in time, there's going to be a fund that is generated for them. I will get that information to Mary Ann or whatever form they choose, and we'll put it out to the membership so that you can be generous with your contributions. Brett had a house right off of Louetta in the Tomball School District. He ran for Congress and was not able to win that fight. It was Wesley Hunt won that one. And then he ran for school board, and that's when he had to back out because his cancer was first diagnosed at that point. So I went up there for the funeral. It was in Shreveport, Louisiana. And his principal showed up. His first assistant, AP, was there with him. I thought that was very, very great of them to do that, to represent Wisdom High School. About Brett, a teacher that they really liked. He taught welding. So he taught tech kids, all right? And these kids were rough. They were very rough. And so he knew how to relate to them, and they loved him. 2 of his kids actually made the trek up to Shreveport. It takes about 4 hours to get there, probably 4.5 for them, coming from HISD. So we have a card. If you know Brett and want to be remembered to the parents by him, you can sign the card. Mary Ann purchased the card. And then I'm going to start, this is who Brett is. This is a program from the funeral or celebration of life that I picked up. And you can take a look at Brett and know who he was. You might recognize him. You may not have really known him, but you've heard of him, or you will recognize his face. So just a shout out to Brett. Great guy, warrior, defender of the truth.
So we're going to start the candidate portion. And if you guys want to come ahead and find a chair up front, and if we don't have one, we'll pull one in from the lobby. But if you want to come ahead, and if you go out this back door and come in this front door, that might be the easiest way.
Oh, okay, so that's fine. Don't give me your message.
Your sign is-
Maybe she didn't finish. She knows afterwards.
No, you just remember what number you are, and then we'll call out your number.
I live in a high rise downtown.
Well, thank you all for participating tonight, and I just wanted to give a few of my words. And we wanted just to say thanks for Brett. Brett was just a regular guy that we met back in 22 who wanted to run for Congress, and there was probably no way he was going to win, no money, things like that. But he was a fighter, and he was a teacher, and he drove, he had 2 jobs, and so, for the common man, we relate to those kind of guys. And so it's easy for people that, have a lot of money, and money's not a problem, but for most of us, when someone throws their hat in the race, they catch our attention when they are just like us, grassroots. So primary season is my favorite time of election year for Texas conservatives. It's our only time to get the best candidate who reflects our values in the race. So it's very important to us. I'm starting to actually feel sad for these candidates, though. I started thinking about where we're going to send them. We're sending them to the cesspools of D.C. and the cesspools of Austin. I really, don't really want to, you start to like these people thinking, really, we want to send them to these really terrible places. I encourage you to look at some of the various videos on the forums to gain more insight into the candidates. I did spend time watching the videos that I would find. Some of them, are 2 hours long. I watched them twice because I really wanted to know people's personalities, what they said, make sure I gave credit to the right person who said whatever caught my eye. So look at their websites, attend meetings like we're having tonight, call the candidates. I was surprised just picking up the phone and how many talked to me for a long time. So it's real refreshing to just know that they're real people wanting to talk to us. I know that sometimes we can't find certain information, so wanting to really understand the character of the person that we are putting our vote behind, their beliefs. Sometimes you want to know their age, because that matters to some of us. How long are they going to be in office? What are they, do they have enough endurance to do this office? One of my favorite litmus tests is your stance on COVID. We've been in war over that. And those of us who are conservatives, we've been fighting this and watching the vaccine and the mask in the local area. So some of these things we didn't forget. Other people might have forgotten, we haven't forgotten. Another good indication is a candidate. Are they believing all the propaganda that they're watching? Because those of us, a lot of us in here, we're not believing all that propaganda. And we know a lot about the government's education voucher scheme. We see some of the failures in that whole plan and what's happening around our state right now. I'm also a native Texan, so it's very important to me that this is the land where my grandfathers died, my grandmothers died. We survived the 1900 storm in Galveston. these kinds of things matter to some of us. But I also know that there's some people I looked up, they're native Texans, and I'm like, they're acting more like space aliens or something. I don't know. They're not fighting for my state. But I do know, like on Twitter and X, I do recommend this new friend of mine. His name is Davy Crockett. Anybody follow Davy Crockett on X? Yeah. Some of us really like Davy Crockett. You'll see Davy Crockett knows the real thing. His eyes are open. And some of us, that's how I just kind of describe it. God opened some of our eyes. And some of us are still having a great time in this old world. The others of us, the world flipped over, and we're wide awake now. So anyway, we need warriors, because we're at war, and we're battling, and I just hope that the candidates who are up here are men and women who know their Bible, who read their Bible, men and women willing to stand alone when it's not the popular thing to do, and who represent those of us who actually vote for them. So we have, I think, Monica, we have 13, 14, 15 candidates. I think we had one number left over. So we have about 14 candidates. We're going to start with just a 2-minute introduction, and Donna, where are you? Right there. Donna Castor is sitting right there. She has the timer, and she will help us. So I know we have one, and then, like I'm saying, I think number 6. So who's number 7? You will go, as 5 will jump to 7. Number 6 is still in the basket here. Okay, so who's number 1? And then after they're finished, we'll just go along, and Robert's going to adjust the microphone so you don't have to come back behind this little table.
Watch your step.
All right, well, it's great to be here at Texas Truth Movement. Thank you, Marianne Jackson, for forming this whole group and bringing it together. Y'all really contribute a lot to Northwest Harris County here with the information, the speakers you brought in. And it's great to be here. I will actually be able to drive home tonight and get there at a decent time. I won't be driving down a dark highway looking out for deer and wild hogs and all that stuff, so that's a privilege for me. But it's great to be with you guys. My name is Mark Gulliby. I'm running for governor. I think a lot of y'all might know what my stance is, and one of the things is my passion is to lower your taxes. To lower your taxes at the state level, where the state controls your sales tax, can reduce it by 1%. You will be paying less for every taxable purchase you make, whether you own land or not, okay? And whether you're old or a kid buying a candy bar, right? You're still going to save money. You're going to save 1% of inflation off the state of Texas. Property taxes need to be fixed too. We all know that. One thing we're going to do is sit there and say, hey, for property taxes, it can't be raised. The rate can't be raised until the voters approve it. Any rate. I don't care how low, right? Then you're going to go through there and you're going to say that the appraisal, the tax appraisal, for both commercial and residential can only go up by the rate of inflation. It's 10%, 20%. That's commercial and residential. So we'll go through and count that. Your homeowner's homestead exemption will apply to every taxing authority. It's not, if I have a homestead, I have a homestead. So it shouldn't apply, well, for this it is, and here it's not, there it is, and there it's not, here's half of it, and here's, no. It's a homestead exemption, it's a homestead exemption. So that's what we're going to fix that. When you go through and you start looking at our Texas education, I don't think I need to tell anybody in this room the state of our Texas education. And the little guy, the little appointee that's been running it for 10 years, if you put somebody in charge of an operation for 10 years, and he has the kind of dismal results for your children that this guy has, you wouldn't have him around. You wouldn't let this guy run. He can't even run. He can't run the TEA. Now he's coming over here and saying he's going to run HISD. And what's happening in HISD? They're leaving. Public school system being left all over the state, right? It's in decline, and we need to go through there and take a look and revamp exactly how Texas delivers education to our children. So, where am I on time?
I'm done.
So if you look in your handout, you will see like who's running for governor, and you can find and just write notes and kind of see all the different names. So I just wanted to remind you of that, so you know.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stan Stanhart. You probably remember me as your Harris County Clerk and Chief Election Official. And I was looking to run, thank you, I was looking to run again for that office until Sam Harless, my state rep, announced that he was going to retire. So I've lived in the district 30 years. I've been a president of a very conservative Republican club in the district. I was actually a founder of Christian Coalition chapter in the district many years ago. And so I decided to run for that seat. I'm now putting my name in the hat middle of September, kind of late in the cycle. I have been endorsed by 12 current conservative state reps, some of the most conservative ones in the state of Texas. I've also been endorsed by Senator Paul Bettencourt, and to my astonishment, the governor actually came out and endorsed me last Thursday. Now, of course, the governor's not been quite as conservative as conservatives, but, I am appreciative of the endorsement. But I'm more appreciative of the grassroots who've endorsed me. If you go to my website, there's over 300 people who are what I call Republican activists, who go to Republican clubs like this, who are Republican voters, and who are precinct chairs involved in wanting to make a difference in our country and to save our country and make it more conservative. I am a proven conservative. Having been served 8 years as your county clerk and chief election official, I am a known quantity. That's why these other conservative reps trust me. They know me. They know where I will stand. They know how I will vote. And too many times we've gotten burned by people who run who don't turn out, say one thing and do something different. I'm not saying that about my opponents, but I will tell you it's a good thing that on the ballot there is no pictures. That's my biggest advantage, okay? So, anyway, I thank you for being involved. Thank you for making a difference. Thank you for saving our country. What you do is so important to be involved. So I want to thank you, and I ask for your prayers. I ask for your guidance and wisdom, and ask that you do prayers for every candidate who ultimately comes out of this primary, because we must be friends when we come out of this. And I tell one of my opponents, she is my favorite opponent. That's probably no good stuff. Anyway, thank you all. God bless you all. Take care.
My name is Jeff Una, and I'm a congressional candidate for District 38. I have not transgendered. I am his mother, though. And I was really content over there when I saw there was a table and I could put all my notes on the table. And now I see I have to do this shoot from the hip.
You're doing great.
No. I want to tell you that, first of all, my son can check every box of Mary Ann's list. His heart beats in sync with this group. He's ultra-conservative. When COVID hit our store, we did not require masks. Yes, we took precautions, but we said we're not going to take away a personal choice. However you want to protect yourself, that's your call. He's not like everyone else, obviously. He doesn't have any political connections. He is not an insider. He doesn't have celebrity endorsements, and he doesn't have deep pockets. I can tell you that. But what he is he's honest to a fault. He may offend you because he's so straightforward. He loves Texas. We're 6th generation Texans. We have ancestors buried at State Cemetery. He spent the last several months trying to get his Sons of the DAR, Sons of the Republic, finished. That's his heart, is Texas. But he has a heart for people. We see all kinds of people come into our store. people that are well off. He'll tell you if he were here. The average income now, the people who borrow money, is like $150,000. This is people that are hurting. He's all about property taxes. He spent months up in Austin working with representatives there, aggressively working with representatives for the program that he put together. I know some of these candidates are seasoned, they have all this stuff together. He's just getting it together. But I want to tell you, he's smart. He's compassionate. He loves God. He knows that this is the reason why he's doing this is because he's called to do it. We didn't have this on the radar when I held that baby. We didn't. We didn't have it on the radar 5 years ago, but it's on the radar now. So we look at it as a divine opportunity. How far it goes, we'll just have to wait and see. But we are grateful for your vote. Check him out. His phone number is on that card. He will answer your call. And if you'd like to give him some money, we'd be happy to take it.
My name's Don Hooper. I'm running for party chair. Native Houstonian. My father was born here. His father was born in Schulenburg. Started work when I was 13 years old at my grandfather's gun club, the Eastern Trap and Skeet Range. He came here this is on my mother's side, and built the Greater Houston Gun Club, if you've ever shot out there. I was a shooter from a long way back. I was on the U.S. Olympic shooting team from 76 to 80 until Jimmy Carter didn't think it was going to be a good idea, and my parents thought I needed to go to college. I'm running, and I've been endorsed by Ken Paxton. I think there's only one other person on the campaign trail that's been endorsed by Ken, and that's Aaron Wrights. I've been endorsed by Michael Berry. I've been endorsed by Kenny Webster. I've been endorsed by the Young Republicans. I've been endorsed by Mitch Little. I've been endorsed by many, many other people for this race. Now, what am I going to do different than what Cindy's doing? First of all, I will not be taking money from Colony Bridge. I didn't know if you know that or not, but Cindy takes money from Colony Bridge for the party. I will not be taking money from TLR. I'm darn sure going to answer the phone when you call. There's 900 people, well actually there's 50,000 people on bond, felony bond in Harris County. Of that 50,000, 900 are on bond for murder, the big M. 300 of those people are on bond for capital murder. Those that know me know my wife was the former deputy chief of the DA's office. She left in 2014. There was nobody on bond for murder or capital murder when she left office. My job is to recruit people to make sure that doesn't happen. My job is to make sure people like Dan Simons gets elected and we talk about him. My job is to recruit people who don't support Sean Tier in the Soros agenda. I want to make sure this party, the Harris County Republican Party, runs to close our primaries. I don't want Democrats voting in our primaries any longer. They should not be selecting our candidates. Dave Phelan was elected by 2,700 Democrats that crossed over and voted in the Republican primary for him. He won by 166 votes. That's going to end. We need the Harris County Republican Party, the largest county in Texas, the #1 county in the United States with registered Republicans. Well, we don't have registered Republicans, people with voting histories. It's very important that the Harris County Republican Party goes along and works with the state party. The state party is very conservative. For those that don't know, my wife is also the general counsel of the Republican Party of Texas. She filed a lawsuit to close our primaries. party to continue with that effort and work alongside her.
She got
Is that my time?
Remember to look at Donna.
Sorry, Donna. I was thought some intro was going on.
I timed mine, I have 15 extra seconds. Okay, I'm June Dankworth, and I'm speaking for Barbara Denson for State Board of Education, District 3. She will be here this evening for the Q&A. 3 things that she wanted me to highlight to you. Yes, ma'am. One, Texas continues to rank near the bottom nationally of educational outcomes. The legislation has taken important steps such as ending whole language instruction, returning to phonics, yet many teachers were never trained in these fundamentals. Real progress requires teacher coaches who are trained in phonics, cursive, and foundational numeracy. Passing laws is only the beginning. Implementation is where success happens. Number 2, accelerated science updates. Texas currently updates its instructional material only once in 8 years. 8 years is an eternity in a field defined by rapid discovery and innovation. 3, companies are excited to come to Texas, to the business-friendly Texas, yet struggle to find a workforce trained for the jobs they bring. I just heard in Abilene, they have 7,000 workers to build a data center from out of state. The locals can't even afford the rent anymore. Barbara's, that's a parenthesis, that was me. Barbara supports stronger communication in industry so colleges and students have clear pathways from high school to meaningful careers. Barbara will work tirelessly to ensure Texas classrooms prepare young people to thrive in an economy that is already taking shape around them. Yesterday, Alice Linehan endorsed Barbara Denson, and I want to read what she said because she says it better than anybody. This is Alice speaking. As a Texas mom who has spent more than a decade in the trenches researching education reform, I have learned that protecting our children in our state starts with who we place in positions of authority. Nowhere is that more important than the Texas Board of Education. The SBOE shapes curriculum and standards for millions of children. That responsibility demands academically minded experts, not political activists. We need members who understand science, evidence, and how real learning happens. Can I finish? Okay, thank you. That is why I proudly endorse Barbara Denson for SBO 6, District 6. Barbara is an engineer with extensive hands-on experience in oil and gas industry, where she helps solve complex environmental challenges. She is also an award-winning author of children's books that responsibly and clearly explain climate change without ideology or fear-based narratives. As Vice President of Women on the Wall, I believe women are the first line of defense for our families and our children's education. Barbara Denson brings the intellectual rigor, professional credibility, and courage needed to be on the SBOE. Please join me in supporting Barbara Denson for SBOE District 6.
Hi, my name is Martin Intworp, and I'm running for U.S. Congress, District 2. I'm running to replace Dan Crenshaw. Thank you. As you can all tell already, I have the best accent in the world. Why? Because 20 years ago, I came to this country as a missionary. I was actually in Hollywood, being loving God and serving God in Hollywood. And I tell people Hollywood is the best place for a missionary because it has so much people. And for a guy from Africa who'd gone through all that witchcraft and everything and war and disease, it was the perfect place for a missionary. So that's where God brought me 20 years ago. Of course, then I found my way to Texas. And I'm so glad I did. Thank you. I'm running for U.S. Congress selfishly because I have 4 kids. The oldest is 12, the youngest is 2 years old. And it feels to me like our elected officials, our congressmen, don't really care about them. I don't know how many of you here feel like especially those with kids or grandkids, feel like your government is concerned about your kids. I do not feel like that. I feel like our elected officials go to DC to get rich, to build their names, to create a profile, to climb ranks. And I cannot afford to do that for my kids. Where I came from, where we had socialism, and then they just stole another election like last week. And a place that Trump called the shithole country is actually. And I say this, that I could not afford to have my kids grow up in Uganda and America. But if we keep having the same elected officials that we have right now, that's what's going to happen. That's why we're emboldened of this crazies that with all this transgender ideology, or with all this socialist thinking. We cannot be doing that. We can't go singing kumbaya with people like that. We can't be raising funds here in Austin, in Houston, with people who oppose the very things that we fight for. That's why I'm running for Congress. Because as Americans, that thing is telling its time. My name is Martin Antwerp, and we're going to have question time, and I'll tell you more about me. And martinantwerp.com is where you'll find me. Thank you very much.
That's all right. I'm not going to keep going here all night. So I'm here representing Marty Langdon, who is running to be your next Harris County judge and replace Lena Hidalgo. A couple things about Marty. He's the current president of the Houston Professional Firefighters Association. He's been a first responder his entire life. A couple of reasons why he's running for judge. First and foremost, public safety. If public officials can't guarantee you and your family's safety, they shouldn't be running. Whether that's more police officers on the street, whether it's more firefighters, or flood mitigation and infrastructure projects whenever it rains or we have hurricanes. Another reason that he's running is so he can get in there, cut the waste and the fraud, return some of that money to the taxpayers, giving them property tax relief. Like I said, he just wants to thank y'all for having this, giving us the opportunity to speak. He hopes to speak at future events and able to meet y'all and address y'all himself. So again, thank y'all.
First of all, my name is Shelley DeZeblis. I'm running for Congressional District 38. I want to say thank you. You guys are who decides who's going to be our next elected representatives, no matter what district. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to research and learn about each and every candidate. And Pat, I've got to do a shout out. I met Brett when he was running for Congress, and his legacy is going to live on in so many different ways. He's an amazing man, and we are truly sorry for his loss. Amazing man. My name is Shelley DeZeblis. I'm running for Congressional District 38. Born and raised here, 5th generation Texan. My family business is part of this district. I was married in this district. I raised my 2 girls in the district. I'm still raising them. They're 17, turning to 25. Different discussion. Grew up here. I flooded here. So I understand issues regarding transportation and infrastructure. My family business is a flight school, among other things. We teach people to fly. During COVID, guess what? We allow people to come in and fly with their flight instructor and learn to fly. I'm not going to have somebody telling me how to run my business, because the weight of America is on small businesses and family businesses and everybody here in this room. We have to fight for our businesses. When we have the economic freedom and the capitalistic structure in this country to survive and thrive, our economy grows. People can buy homes. People can afford things. This is what America's about. As a small business owner, I see how much I'm paying in taxes and getting less and less out of it. And because of that, I was appointed by Governor Abbott to the Texas DOJ. One of the things that we did in the past legislative session is we sat there and increased the personal property exemption from $1,000 to $125,000. So saving hundreds of million dollars for small businesses like you and me in this entire state. I sit there and I look at what we've done on a federal issue. I was appointed by President Trump's administration during his first administration on aviation safety and manufacturing jobs. So I understand how policy is written and how it works. No other candidate has local, state, and federal backgrounds and has been vetted by the governor, by Trump, and others to fight for them. I am a big believer, and we have to continue to protect our borders. Pardon me. It's ridiculous what Biden did to this country in just the 4 years in terms of infrastructure that's costing us from having too many or having any illegal immigrant here in our state and an entire country. I'm a fighter. I've walked alongside folks like Stan when we're sitting there fighting for election integrity, fought against the election administrator, got that person removed, and is also continuing trying to fight to make sure we clean our ballot rolls. Shelley DeZebelis, Shelley for Congress. I am a pilot. I understand. I've been flying this area since I was a kid. Thank you very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. My cell phone is 281. Is this going on the internet?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I will give you the cell phone as soon as I thank you. I will give you my cell phone to all of you. I will answer that phone. Thank you.
So what number were you?
9. I was 9. Oh, it was 10.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Hi, everybody. My name is Inocencia Moreno, and I'm running for State Representative 145, and that's Christina Morales is the incumbent. I do not have a primary opponent. So, with that being said, I am here for my husband, Oscar Gonzalez, who is running to take over Lena Hidalgo's position as Harris County Judge. My husband spent 30 years in the Sheriff's Department, and he has always served his community. We both have. That's why we are both in this together. We're going to fight. We love our home. We love Texas. We love America. And we teach that to our boys. Our whole thing's about faith. My mom, she was the first Hispanic female judge for the city of Houston. My dad and Oscar's grandfather served in World War II. So we love our veterans, and we're always boots on the ground. Oscar's fighting for Harris County. He's fighting to bring back integrity and accountability. And he's been the only candidate since the beginning fighting for the integrity of the party and all of these elections. Because what happens in Harris County is going to determine all these other candidates that are running, like my position and others, for the November ballot. So please, look at your candidates, look at your background, because his values are there. They are unquestionable. You cannot question his values. He's a good man. He's fought. We rescue animals. In fact, we spent the entire weekend building shelters for stray animals and rescuing dogs and stuff. And we always work with kids in foster care. I work in the court. Oscar's always with me. We see the wasteful spending that is going on and happening in Harris County every day. Every day. But the one thing, too, crime is a problem. It's a big problem. And no one knows to fight crime than a law enforcement officer like Oscar. He's been through Ike. He's been through hurricanes. He's been through emergency disasters. And there are times he had to leave me with my kids at home to go out there and support and take care of the community. But it's what we did and what we've been doing for decades. We've been in Houston. We've never left, never gone anywhere, and we've always fought for the community, and we will continue to fight for the community. It's a team effort. My son is here with us. We've been in this from the beginning. Does that mean I'm done? Okay. But I just want to say, Oscar Gonzalez, please look at your candidates and vote. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kelly Peterson, and I'm running to be the next state representative of House District 126. I've had the privilege of serving House District 126 for the last 4 years as the district director under State Representative Sam Harless, and I have helped connect countless people, families, and businesses to the agencies and the services that they need, all while solving very real problems that affect our everyday lives. I learned very quickly that being a public servant has absolutely nothing to do with your title, yet it has everything to do with showing up, with your ability to listen, with your ability to validate, and most importantly, be a part of the solution instead of adding to the problem. I've lived in this district for the past 20 years. I've raised my family here. I've worked in both the public and the private sectors, and I feel I know firsthand what families and businesses face on a day-to-day basis. And I think that perspective is important because policy doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens with real people in real time, with real investments and real operations. I want to take that experience and be an advocate for my district in Austin to come up with real common sense solutions that I can implement in my district to help it grow and prosper. Solutions to property tax reform, flood mitigation, workforce development, and most importantly, safe and secure communities. One thing about it, I cannot do this by myself. I need you, I need your voices, I need your energy, and mostly I need your vote on March 3rd. Kelly Peterson for State Representative of House District 126. Thank y'all.
Well, I was 11.
Hello, everybody. I'm Warren Howell. I'm running for county judge. You know, traditionally, and by the way, I've got my vision for Harris County on the table in there. It's about 4 pages. It's a quick read. It just looks long. I'm a native Houstonian, Air Force veteran, have a wife, 4 kids, 4 grandkids, 2 kids. I love my grandkids, so that's what that is. Problem with Harris County, and the reason I'm running, is because in 1836, this is going to torque some of you, they built the wrong system. Now, for 182 years, we survived this system that they built because we were fortunate enough to elect reasonable people. Bob Eccles, Ed Emmett, and on and on. Now, the chickens have come home to roost. Just this last year, we had a $200 million deficit. Why? Because people like Rodney Ellis learned how to use the system. So what has to happen? And I know traditionally everybody's wanting to vote for, well, this is a nice lady, she talks well, or this is an Hispanic person, and we need more representation, heard that just the other day, for Spanish people. Or we have a union leader, and he'll do great because he's fought against the city of Houston, which we do not need to fight, we need to partner with. So that's the traditional thing. I am going to run for 4 years. I'm going to work for 4 years, putting the agenda in place and changing the system so that no matter who we elect, and guess what? We're going to mess up again, aren't we? We're going to pick some real doozies. You can bet on it. But no matter who you pick, if the system is in place that works, they can't take advantage of us. I'll have a website built where you just punch on the $sign. You can see what transaction occurred, who did it, where the contract went, the whole thing. I'll redo purchasing, I'll redo engineering, I'll redo everything. But when we get our system in place that we need, we'll have all the money we need for police, safety, flood control, jails, no more homelessness. I'm Warren Howell, and I'll do this for you for 4 years. But I'm not doing this again. Okay? This is not happening again. Just so you know. Thank you very much.
You guys ever had anybody that saved your life, whether it be a doctor, a nurse, or law enforcement? Imagine that person saving your life, saving your family member's life, and then inviting them to live with them in your house. That's how I see America. I lost my country when I was 5 years old to communism. I escaped Vietnam during the fall of Saigon. When everything was collapsing, the country was getting destroyed. Only my father and I escaped. My mother and the rest of my family did not make it out. And what happened to them is they got dragged out of their homes, pulled and put into re-education camp by the communists. I hate communism. And I see that happening here, and I'm not going to have it anymore. When I was 5 years old, we were on the boat, escaping Vietnam, one of the last boats out. We were stranded in the ocean for 3 days. No food, no water, no hope. Until the third day, we were rescued by the grace of God by a Navy destroyer. At 5 years old, that's when I met America. And I fell in love. I swore that I was going to pay her back. And when I was 18 years old, I did just that. Promises made, promises kept. I did the only way, paid her back the only way I knew how. I raised my hand, put on a uniform, and fought for us in 3 separate wars. Desert Storm, Iraq, Afghanistan. Then after 13 years of service, I got out, went out and worked in oil and gas industry, worked for Schlumberger, built a program, a global program to help vets get off the streets, get jobs within the industry, help women, empower children, get them interested in STEM. And after 12 years, I decided I need to step back up because of what has happened during the last 4 years under Biden. I want to codify President Trump's executive orders. Borders being closed. But if we don't codify, we don't solidify what he's done, the next president come in and do this and take that back. I want to stop the Islamic invasion of our country.
Yes, thank you.
I fought those savages overseas. And I know Islam is not a religion. It's a political ideology. If you come to this country, you need to come here legally. And if we allow you in, we don't owe you our country. You owe us your loyalty. We have to assimilate. Because America, yes, America is the melting pot, but if you refuse to melt, that doesn't work. You're going to destroy us from within.
Love it.
You know, we talk about how America is at war. Yes, we are at war. And I've seen war all my life. I was born in war. I fought in 3 wars. And the verse that best describes me is Psalm 144:1. Blessed be the Lord my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. Allow me to fight for you one more time. I'm Nick Tran from Texas.com. Go to my website and click Count Me In.
Okay, I'm clearly not a 7-foot, 40-year-old man, but I do work for John. I had John Bunk, he's running for Texas 38 Congress. Can you hear me? Everyone hear me?
Yeah.
I had 3 job opportunities coming out of college, and I chose to work for John. It is so rare to find someone that not only believes in the word of Jesus and Lord, but lives it every single day through all of his actions. John was raised by his grandparents. He was born to a single mom. He graduated college, and right after, he graduated in 08. Now, I was just 5, but I heard it was real bad, and he lived through it, and what he did was he worked minimum wage for an entire year. And then after that, he moved to Houston. He met his beautiful wife, Laura, at Bible study. He's always telling us all, meet your wife at church, meet your husband at church. That's where you gotta go. And they started 2 small businesses together right here in the district. They have 2 small kids. They're 8 and 5. They're Braden and JJ. They're great parents. He's a dad. He's a businessman. He believes in true conservative values. That's why he's endorsed by the Border Patrol. He's endorsed by Texas Homeschool Coalition, Texas Right to Life, Texas Values, and so many more. But that's not what John's most proud of. John's most proud of the 40 young kids, high school and college, who volunteer their time every single week. I know, I see them every day. They're constantly asking me, hey, can I have more literature? Hey, can I have a new phone list? But it's because they believe in him. They know that he will fight for them. And they know that he will fight for you, your faith, your family, and your freedom. Thank you. I'm not going to take up the whole 2 minutes. Hopefully he's here later to answer some questions, but I just wanted y'all to know a little bit about John and that he will truly fight for every single one of you. Thank you.
Well, great news. I never met a microphone I didn't like, so that's positive, but I'm very short. There we go. My name is Holly Luberg, and I'm running for House District 126. Nick's story is very compelling, and I'd like to share a little bit about myself, and we'll keep it under 2 minutes because I know these chairs are really probably getting to you. So, but when I was just 10 years old, my family experienced something that no family should ever experience. My oldest sister, unfortunately, was murdered at the hands of somebody else, and for the better part of my life, I have spent every 7 years in front of a parole board testifying as to why that person should not be let back out to the community. When I campaign for House District 126 on safety and security, it's because I've spent 30 years of my life in law enforcement. I've spent 30 years of my life on the other side of that blue line, protecting our communities so they can sleep at night and not have to worry about the evil that lurks right outside their door. I am very pro keep that border closed. Keep that border closed. It's not about what's coming in from this, or who's coming in from the south as much as it is who's coming from overseas to cross those borders. We cannot ignore that. I'm running to fix 1960. Anybody have an issue with that? I've been working on that project for 4 years. I work in Cypress Station, which is the second highest crime area in the state of Texas. I've worked on many programs to bring all the services together. And I also want to mention that not only have I worked on in the community, very much involved, but every single dollar that has come into my campaign is from House District 126. So when I tell you that I'm working up in Austin for you and for this community, every single dollar has been from the community. I'm not working for Austin. I'm working for House District 126. Up there for a little bit, and I'll be right back to help you back out, because we've got to get this area back for our kids. That is my son. He's standing on the chair because I blessed him with my height. Sorry, buddy. That is also what I'm fighting for. That is our future, and if we don't start stepping up to put these things in place, like many of you have said, we run the risk of leaving them an absolute mess, and it is not worth it. So again, I am not a politician. I don't claim to be a politician, but I'm stealing my nephew's joke because it's fantastic. We've heard it already. Just give me a groan. But I look to be your next politician. House District 126.
That's it. My turn to go to questions. Okay. So if you have a question on a piece of paper, we have Pat Huff. You want to come on up? And he's going to. Yeah.
We've got quite a few to go through. Some of them are lengthy. Like the one I was just handed. Okay. All right, but first of all, I want to thank everybody for speaking tonight. It's a big job to run for office. I've never run for office, nor do I plan to. But I appreciate those who do. So, with that said, let me give the first question to Nick Tran. With your background, fleeing a communist country, and most likely that shaped your character and desires for our country, what legislation would you have a passion about because of your background?
Most of my legislation is going to be focused on enforcing the Constitution that we already have. I don't think we need to create more laws. The other thing is a lot of people say American first, but we really need to be putting Americans first. If you just break it down simply, if you're the head of the household, I'm sorry, the kid next door, they get his lunch money, but I'm gonna take care of my kids first. So you gotta really gotta take care of our kids. I fought in wars. Congress declares wars. I'm not gonna send your children, my children, and your grandchildren to war to feed the military-industrial complex. When we go to war, we're there to kill the enemy. We're not there to nation build. We're not there to police the country. We're not there to take over the country. That's one of the things that I'm focusing on.
Thank you.
Did I answer your question?
How many candidates for Harris County Judge do we have here tonight? Two? Okay.
There's just two.
Okay.
I'm the only one here.
Okay. Mr. Howell, right? Who are your major contributors over 20,000?
Spicy stuff.
I have no contributors over $500. I put in a portion of my own money because I care about you, believe it or not. My wife hates my guts now, which is fine, you know. When she found out how much money I've spent so far, the house was so quiet for 3 days, you could hear a pin drop. But she got over it, bless her heart, and now she's all in. She says, I don't care, go win. So guess what? I've got 7 people working for me. We're gonna have radio. We've got signs all over Harris County. We're doing the work. And I'm not doing it because of fame and fortune. I'm doing it because I want to complete that dash. I was born, I died, and the dash between, I'm completing my dash. Think of it. If I'm able to fix the 3rd largest county in the United States and instigate laws in Austin that help other counties all over Texas that have multiple precincts, that's pretty cool. Do you think? So that's why I'm doing it. That's it. Thank you.
You have another?
Oscar's wife.
Oscar's, yes.
Okay.
Hi, yeah, we're nowhere near 20,000 or anything like that. But you know, I can tell you, I know everybody's talking about endorsements and stuff, but Oscar's actually boots on the ground. He's out there with the community. We're always doing events, back to school events, feed the veterans. We've worked with animals, strays. We work with kids in foster care, done adoptions, done all kinds of things. He's got the real people on the ground. He's got connections with law enforcement. He's got the officers that are out there and the firefighters who are out there risking their lives every day who are supporting him. And they have supported him or are anxious for him to get in there and to make a difference. So, yeah, but no money.
Unless, of course, somebody wants to donate tonight.
Yeah, very nice.
Okay. Next question is for Kelly Peterson. All right, we have a number of people that are here in the audience who live in the Klein Independent School District. And we know that Sam Harless represented that district, and Patricia, his wife, before. So he has donated a sizable portion of his income to your campaign. He is supporting you. And one of the things that we who are interested in Klein would like to get to the bottom of is the sex trafficking cover-up that took place in Klein. Yeah. Starting these with the superintendent and board, these people are Sam's friends. Some of them used to be my friends. what is your position? Now, this case just got thrown out of the court just recently. Some of you don't know that. This is the most important issue going on right now in crime. And I'm disappointed that the people of Klein did not realize that, the voters, and they voted in the same school board members. So I'm pontificating a little bit here, Kelly. So what is your position on this topic? And why should we vote for you? Okay.
Goodness, did you feel the pressure go down the memory of that? Thanks. It's a tragic situation, absolutely. I do not want to speak for Sam or the people that was there. I was not, as a district director, I'm not involved in any of that. What I can say is this last legislative session, there was a bill called the Klein Care Act that did not get to move forward. And that basically states that if there is something going on with an employee, a teacher, whoever that is working for the school district, if they are in any way, shape, or form working with law enforcement, if they have been arrested, if they are under investigation, the school board and the schools have to know immediately. It did not make it through the session. I think it is very important. It is very important for when these things happen that the schools, the community, everybody know immediately. There's no pardon for this. These are our children. These are terrible things that are happening. I do not agree with how it was handled. Like, again, I can't speak. I don't want to speak for Sam. It's not fair. He can always come here and speak for himself and for how Klein handled it. I am not at those tables for those conversations yet. I hope to be. The only thing I've done with the school board is present proclamations for them, but I am not in those discussions, nor was I in those discussions when I was the district director. It is absurd with this day and age. It is absurd if we put so much time and money just in the safety of entering. I mean, it takes you 35 minutes just to walk in and take your kids' lunch when they left your lunch at home. If we put that much care and concern in who's coming into school, we should know who is working inside the school. There should be heavier steps. There should be more investigation. There should be heavier background checks. I don't have the sticker to tell you, but all I can do is say that I will fight for this because it should never happen in today's age, especially in Klein, as big as it is. And even though this is absurd and horrible, Klein has a lot of good things going for them, and we have to build from the inside, but we have to fix the inside first.
Thank you for that answer. This is not addressed to any particular person, so when I read it, think about who might like to answer it. How much corruption in government can or should be tolerated?
Zero. We've got Jenna here.
No, do it.
So I think we all recognize that there's a lot of corruption in Austin and in Washington, D.C. And Harris County. And in your local school district. I guess what the person is asking. Sure.
We have a lot of corruption. We've got $600 million a year going to Baker Ripley. They're charging 25% admin fees for that. That's $150 million all by itself. That's 2.5 times what a normal NGO would charge for admin fees.
Okay.
We had, in 2024, I read the whole 134-page budget. That is a boring read. But we spent $47 million on homelessness. Last time I checked, we got plenty of them at every corner I go to. We spent $62 million on the affordable housing program, of which Rodney Ellis's wife got $6 million as a lawyer, just a consultant. Rodney's got 25 paid-for advisors. They're paying these paid-for advisors. Tom Ramsey had two, $186,000 a year. Even if I'm in the restroom for $186,000 a year, I will answer the phone. I really would. So when I say we're going to do a forensic audit of all apartments,
thank you.
We're going to dissect it, but we're going to find out where all the money that's being paid by Rodney and other folks to their staff, where is it really going? We're going to find out.
Warren is correct. There's a lot of corruption going on. Pretrial services, originally it was what, $3 million and all that. Now after the O'Donnell, it's $125 million. We also have a county administrator, $400,000 salary with all their people under it, making a lot of money. That needs to go. They're not doing anything for the county. Plus we get all these emails about survey that's costing billions that they keep hiring. They've got people that they hire outside of states, different counties, working for the county remotely with high salaries. Believe me, I work in a courtroom, I can't even get a computer to do our job. So yeah, it's big corruption there.
Okay, we have one more that wants to speak to the corruption. Donna?
Does anybody in this room know who the special prosecutor against Lena Hidalgo was?
Rachel Hooper.
Rachel Hooper, my wife. And the reason why that's important is because there was a lot of corruption going on at both the county and the city of Houston. When Kim Ogg left office, I think after she left office, Sean Tier dismissed all of the public corruption cases. I don't think there is one left. We have no U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Texas. Right now, there is no federal authorities investigating public corruption cases. I guess arguably some FBI agent is out there somewhere, but there's no one to prosecute that case. We need to get, if you see Ted Cruz and you see John Cornyn, please ask them to get us a U.S. attorney. The U.S. attorney could have prosecuted Lena and Rodney and all the other people. And by the way, my wife was not hired to prosecute Lena. She was originally hired to find out from who in the district attorney's office was leaking information to Rodney Ellis as a criminal defense lawyers on the art scandal. She quickly figured out who that was. They were all fired or moved out of those positions in the public corruption unit about the same time Jack Cagle started waving his laptop complaining about Felicity Perea. We need a U.S. attorney. And by the way, the former head, the special agent in charge of the Houston field office was a guy by the name of Perry Turner. He was sent down here by Comey not to investigate corruption. And he did that for a very, very long time. Very little federal prosecution of public corruption cases. The second Perry Turner left is when you saw all the indictments at HISD. Please tell our senators we need a U.S. attorney.
Yes, thank
you. All right, so we got corruption. It's all under the table. But there's also corruption on top of the table. And these are these corporate welfare schemes, right? And it's all codified. We proved this under Chapter 313 when you guys, the grassroots, got rid of it. And just so you know, they brought it back now as JEDI, Jobs, Energy, Training, and Innovation. And these best batteries, if you're not familiar, anyway, I'm not going to get into that, but there's corruption under the table, but there's also when they codify it and it's on top of the table, and that's even harder to stop because it's codified.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna let Jeff Una come up and speak for a minute. He was not here yet, Alex, and he didn't have a chance to let y'all know who he is.
I'm Jeff Una, Peggy's son. I'm running for Congress, 38th district.
That's it? That's it. You said she did a great job.
She did. She did.
Okay. This is for Stan. So, since you have been filling Alan Vera's shoes, what 2 to 3 definite things have you accomplished for election integrity, Stan?
You know, Alan Vera passed away in the Capitol testifying on election integrity bills. Went to the restroom and passed away. So, over 2.5 years ago, I was asked to fill his shoes as the chairman of the Ballot Security Committee. And I've been the vice chair for the Harris County Republican Party for election integrity. When I've been there, we have actually used a system that has a national database. And we actually have, I believe, 47 states in it, bigger than any that are using nationally. And we identified lots of voters. Guess what? We gave it to the tax assessor collector, the voter registrar, to process these people who we found obituaries for, people who moved out of state, who were actually voting out of state. They did nothing because their excuse was you needed personal knowledge. You had to be a family member. You had to be the voter that says, I moved out. How do you, if you died, how do you tell someone that you moved out? Figure it out. So anyway, we did work on a bill this last session. I worked closely with the people in the legislature to get a bill passed. It came out of the House, the Senate, passed fine. But guess what? We were less than 1 hour when that midnight clock ran, but they would have been on the floor. And that's because the Democrats did what's called chubbing. They just did points of orders, anything to delay the process because they did not want that to pass. There's many things that we work on for election integrity as the chairman of the Ballot Security Committee. And we work closely with the legislature. That's why so many of them know me. So many tell me, we need you to their stand because of your knowledge and experience and the ability to make a difference. I modernized everything when I was the county clerk. The e-poll books, the iPads, I created those when I was there. We had the best electronic poll book in the system. Now, one of the things that did get passed this last session, we worked closely with the legislature on, is to audit that paper that's in that bag, so that we can at least compare a small percentage of the polling locations that what was reported on election night, what's in that bag accurately matches that. So that is very important. I want to expand it even bigger. There's a whole list of things for election integrity, cleaning up our voter rolls, doing where we can actually make sure that people live where they live. It's a very long list, but I don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you. God bless you.
All right, this one's for Polly. Tell us about your first few months as HD 126 rep. What are you going to do the first few months?
Yeah, the first few months, yeah, fantastic. I'm gonna make sure that they can lower every mic in the Capitol. Or get me a stool. One or the other. My first few months in Austin will consist of relationship building. When we talk about corruption, I also have a fraud background, so we talk about looking at the areas that are problems, but making sure that the relationships that we're building up there are wholesome, and that they are not the type of relationships that we've seen a lot of times that I believe as a resident that I know I'm sick about hearing about. I'm sick of hearing about cronyism. I'm sick about hearing that somebody can do something because they know this person and they know that person and that one did something for them 30 years ago. I understand things happen. We all build relationships. But coming into it without those existing relationships gives me an opportunity to come at it from a different angle and to really stay focused on what we need to get done in House District 126, which is to work on 1960, work on safety and security, make sure our law enforcement is supported properly, but then also take that a step further to make sure that we're assisting things at the county level. Because I think forgive me, I'm sorry, somebody mentioned it, but whatever is happening at that higher level is also happening in the local communities. So really focusing on what you, as House District residents, want and need in Austin. That is the most important thing. So immediately following the election, that will be a lot more of the conversation, is taking the information that I've gathered throughout this process and putting it together to say, this is our plan. I'm a little OCD. Can I admit that here? I'm a little particular, but I'm very strategic, and I like to have plans in place. So I like to have all the information that we can and analyze that information to figure out what is the best, your top 3 picks, not mine, yours.
Thank you.
I really think maybe we just have time for one more question, because we have to be out of here by 9 o'clock. And it's going to take a lot of time to clear the house here. Now this is for Mark Albany. And I know you've worked a lot on the education problem. So I'm going to put it to you this way. What do you see as the biggest problem with public education, which 90% of our kids attend? How would you go about correcting this problem?
Well, this is a very, very important topic, and I've concentrated a lot in this arena. And as you know, we fought and been in the Capitol and testified many, many times. The thing I look at with this public education is right now the current position is an appointed position and appointed by the governor. And currently, the person who holds it has held it for 10 years. So one of the things that I say is this person be accountable to the parents and the taxpayers, not be the governor. So we're going to have that be an elected position. Just think if somebody was in this room tonight talking about Klein and having to answer as the Texas Public Education Commissioner about Klein. So the TEA cannot back off of what that was happening, right? I know they want to, but they can't. They own it. They own the school districts. They own that problem. And it's festering. It's all over the state, all this inappropriate relationships. So to me, when I look, I've testified to the Cy-Fair and to the Senate, when you look at these inappropriate relationships, I looked at them and I've said, right down the hallway in your library are books detailing, spelling out, and pictures of inappropriate relationships. So when this poor child, okay, he's a little bit, just a child, they're trying to figure out who they are, what they are, where they are, where they belong, all right? And then you have this adult who's obviously twisted, approach the child does not know that this is inappropriate because you got books in there. I want to see an education commissioner try to defend that, to defend the issues that we have with the kids that are undisciplined and not being disciplined in the state laws that limit the school district's ability to discipline. The other thing I would do okay, let me know if I take too much, but at any rate, the other thing I look at is we have 20 Texas education regions, all right? We have 15 State Board of Education positions. I don't think that doesn't line up, right? Those districts should line up with the State Board of Education, and the State Board of Education person should become more involved in the education process. Not just going to Austin and fun around, okay, for a week or two, right? And then come back, pass some books, maybe the school districts adopt the books, maybe they don't. We have these State Board of Education positions, they're elected, okay? And I'm thinking that these people should become more involved in how administration within their district of the schools and put them a little bit more over ISDs. Now somebody's going to say, well, they're going to do that for free. No, they're not, right? Now how are we going to pay for that? Well, number one is I'm going to take 20 Texas Education Agency regions and cut it down to 15. So there's savings there. The other thing I'm going to look at is I'm going to doge that TEA back to books and paper, right? That guy's grown that thing by 40 in 10 years, 48%, 53% in the head count, and he doesn't have anything to show for it. So again, an elected education commissioner responsible to the parents and the taxpayers, right? And then State Board of Education more empowered in being able to go through there and take direct. So now a parent has their school district, they have SBOE and TEA to try to get their problems addressed. So.
Thank you.
Okay, for Mark to be able to, for Mark to be able to do all of that, he's got to defeat Governor Abbott in the primary. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. One more question, okay? This is for Mr. Etwa. If you could let us know about your legal background and how you feel that will help you in your position. Thank you. You're running for U.S. Congress.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But District 2, right?
District 2.
Against Crenshaw.
My legal background. Actually, what Mark Dollop is talking about teaching education in Texas. I would say the most powerful political body in Texas is the school districts. You know why? Because they employ the majority of the employers in Texas.
Yes.
And so because of that, they tend to go around the law. Our legislators are too afraid to write legislation that actually protects families. I've been dealing with issues like that all over the state. Last October, a teacher went in class. A kid had a toy in the hand. This teacher said, "What's that?" And then he's like, "That looks like a dildo." A teacher telling fifth grade kids, a guy telling a fifth grade kid in class that her toy looked like a dildo. And this past week I asked the school about it. I'm like, "What did you do? What do you guys do?" They're like, I'm like, "Do you guys report?" Because there's no report with the TEA. I went to verify that. They lied to me. Their attorney lied to me that they reported the TEA. They fired this. I don't know what they fired, but he's not in this school. I'm like, "Did you guys move him to a new school district?" They will not tell me, but they claim they reported it, but there's no TEA report. And things like that. I defended, in May of last year, we had the Ambo ISD. Someone wasn't qualified to run for school board, ran and won, a Democrat with no qualification. I told Ambo ISD they better remove this person or I'm going to sue them. They didn't do that, so I sued them. When I sued Ambo ISD, they removed the teacher. No, they didn't swear in this lady as a school board member.
That's good, yes.
Thank you. And as a public interest attorney, because the one person who holds government accountable, it's not easy doing that. And that's why, as a congressman, if you've been I've held school board accountable, county commissioners accountable, I've held city council accountable. Actually, I believe in what? Matthew 18 principle. You call them, give them a chance to fix it. If they don't, you tell someone else. If they don't, you send them to court. And when you do that third part, they get in line. And I've done that, been doing that for the past couple of years. And it's time to go do that in Congress. Find people who are not afraid to speak to power. People who are not afraid to say, this is wrong, this is the right law. And not writing legislation that is for buddies, which is what we've been doing all over Texas. We need laws, like Mr. Trent said, the laws that are not helping you and me, we need to get rid of those. Then the ones that should be in place, like fixing our immigration laws. Right now, there's so much loopholes in the immigration laws. And I know Trump is enforcing it, but we still need to close those loopholes. And what does that mean? We need to pass a few legislation like the ones, the executive orders Trump has signed. We need to make them into law to make it stronger to protect our Constitution and our America. Thank you very much. I will. I am. Thank you. Thank you.
We need somebody like him on our side all the time. Thank you. I just want to remind everybody in the room that you can have meet and greets, and you can let's see, I send massive emails to all my friends, letting them know who I'm voting for. And after I pick out candidates and give them little reasons why I choose, I'm just trying to help you that each person in this room can influence someone else by what you share. You can block walk. We've block walked all across Harris County before, Pasadena, everywhere we went. There's phone banking, something called Numenar. I'm going through that training to help one of these candidates. Let's see. You can donate to their campaigns. I think does everybody on their website have a way to donate? So
There's a QR code out there for me.
yeah, QR codes, all sorts of stuff. You can, every time they have these yard signs, those all cost money. So if you take some, you might want to make a donation so they can get some more. Yes.
Here's Larry.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, thank you.
And let's see. Anyway, those are a couple things that, and mailers, they have to buy their mailers and push cards, things like that. So talk to the candidates, any of these candidates that you met tonight, and see how you can help. I really wanted to also mention that during the March, we have our primary election day. We have early voting starting in February 17th through the 27th. We have precinct conventions happening in March and Senate conventions, and then the Republican conventions in the summer in June. So I just want to remind you of those things coming up. Any of you can participate in those, and I encourage you to do so. Do we have any door prizes?
These guys are the ones that got rid of chapter 313. They did it. The grassroots got rid of chapter 313. And y'all did it. Y'all should be proud of yourselves. You got rid of some real nasty corporate welfare. Y'all did it.
So thank y'all. Yes, we know each person in here has an influence, and so thank y'all for being here. We're going to pick a couple door prizes, and
I'd like to drink.
we're going to have real quick. So if you want to check your little numbers, we'll do the last three numbers. 213. 213. We have 4 prizes. Anyone 213? Okay. Mariah's going to come around and pick out a prize. We have like a gift bag with this Texas sign, so there's 3 prizes in there. So whoever gets here first gets to pick out the fifth person. 187. 187. $199.
I'll put it back in.
216. Okay, I think we have all 4 people that have won. Please take with you the literature on the tables, or make sure we get them back to the people.
Marianne,
yes.
Can I get the card back and the program on Brett?
Oh, I have it.
Oh, you got it?
Yes. Okay. I think that's all. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Shelley?
Yeah.
I've opened the door for you.
Stop this.